Hi, good day, and welcome to a special feature of the Caribbean Parenting Digital Suite. Today, we are going beyond the traditional digital show, and we are featuring with you what is called CPDS Connect. And CPDS Connect simply is a platform that allows us, the Caribbean parenting team, to be able to connect with and provide additional support for parents based on their needs. And when we say based on their needs, this is a private chat format that allows us to discuss questions or topics that are submitted by parents based on challenges experienced in everyday life. Today, we have with us social worker Nalini Rampasad and guidance officer Andrea Gopal as they join in to be able to discuss, provide feedback, give recommendations, and guidance based on questions that are provided. So we're excited that we can create this new channel for you, and we trust that all the information that is provided you would find useful and will empower you to be the best parent that you can be. So even now, we're going to welcome both Andrea and Nalini into the studio, and we're going to be providing them with questions based on what you guys have asked. Hi, Andrea. Hi, Nalini. How are you?
Hi.
Hi, good
Good.
night.
So it is exciting as always to be with you. And of course, our first prompt comes from a question asked that mentions managing stress and parenting during COVID 19. In Trinidad and Tobago, we're still currently having many restrictions. Some persons are unemployed, others are partially employed, schools are still closed, and this definitely is a pressing button for many parents. So, what recommendations can you provide to parents as it pertains to managing stress and effective parenting during this COVID recovery time?
You want to go ahead, Andrea?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Okay. Um, One of the keys to managing stress is definitely managing time. Stress management and time management is basically the same thing. When we manage our time, we reduce our stress. So, particularly during the COVID time, what you would find is that um, kids are at home, unable to go out to their social activities the way they would like. And believe it or not, that is a very big source of stress for children, especially those who have a big social life, those who are into sports, teenagers who are into the mall life and movies and all of that. So, as adults, sometimes we take it for granted that because kids don't have to work, they don't have as many chores to do and all that, they don't feel stressed. But they do feel stressed by not seeing their friends. So, for that particular thing, I think we need to allow our kids to connect with their friends. I know sometimes parents tend to complain about the children on the social media all the time, but this is one occasion where they really need it because children, friendships are extremely important to them. And believe it or not, their friendships, maintaining their friendships, is a source of coping for them. It can be used as a coping mechanism. Uh, you want to jump in anywhere, Nalini, or should I keep going?
Yeah, I have a small part, yes. What I have come to realize with this COVID period and parents being at home more than normal because we would see a lack in finances, job losses, and cuts, I would have realized that there's a lot more conflict happening at home. And a little tip in terms of parenting. when parents have conflicts, I would like them not to have them in front of your children because they tend to add more stress. And as Andrea would have mentioned, that children are very social in being, and their big socialization aspect, which is going into school and being with friends, have been limited so much. And now they are in the home with parents that are constantly arguing. When parents have their issues, they tend to, take it out in front of the children, and that is not wise. Parents need to set boundaries. A lot of parents, I realize, because we are in this new normal where kids will be doing work at home, they need to set boundaries. Because children really, really do well. They prosper with boundaries. You set a timeline for them. You see what works for your family. You look at your time. You manage your time well. You see when, in terms of their classroom time management, it is very, very important that they do work at particular time. You give them breaks in between, and you tend to manage how they do things, because that will start to eliminate some of the stress that they would experience at home. Another thing too is assigning chores, letting them know that, not because you're home and you probably have some online classes, that means that, mommy home, daddy home, you don't have chores. We must give them chores because they teach them a level of responsibility that will take them into adulthood. And of course, they need to play and they need to relax. They need to be kids. And this is a great time for family to build resiliency in terms of bonding and getting to know your child, getting to spend quality time with your family. And for me and my home, I could tell you that, some of the years that we would have missed because of school and lessons and up and down and jobs, it has, there's a new creation of bonding at home. So that's some of the tips I would just like to throw in there.
Another area I would like to touch in terms of the COVID. Recently, I touched base with a parent who has a child that has special needs.
Mm-hmm.
And the stress of being at home, the child unable to go out and visit with relatives or whatever, that relieves that parent. The child was, and the parent was so stressed. So particularly during this time of being at home, parents who have kids with special needs, if you know someone, reach out, support them, see if you could offer them a little time out, because unlike other parents who could maybe leave their children by a granny or aunt or something, sometimes if you are a close friend and the child would spend a little time with you just to give that parent a break, that would be appreciated. And what that parent also shared with me, the kind of support she needed, even though she didn't really have anybody who could take the child, was having somebody to listen.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes, as parents, we feel overwhelmed, we feel alone, and we need to open up to somebody. We need to vent with a safe person. That is something that can help us during this period as well. Anything else you wanted to comes to mind?
As you mentioned, the special needs. I have two cases where two children were diagnosed with one with depression and one with schizophrenia. And because of the limitations, they have been quite anxious, and you know, there are lots of things that started happening, increased behaviors at home. And one of the things that sort of works for the family is, even though they can't go for walks to let go stress, they learn to go out into the yard. And, if it's to walk up and down your driveway or to just walk around the house and to enjoy the plants and to probably plant something, to teach them some mode of, just getting out and relieving stress. Because persons with mental issues and health issues, it is very difficult for them to adapt in this period. And asking for help is excellent, and also looking for new ways and adapting to the change. In terms of, if you're limited in environment, you can utilize what you have, which will maybe your yard. And now they have removed some of the restrictions. You can probably put on a mask and go for a walk in your street in the evening. Try to utilize what we have to make things easier for our children.
Another very good point that I thought of is abusers. Children are trapped at home with abusers during this time. Women are trapped at home with abusers.
Mhm.
You know, when the experience started, the COVID lockdown, I received calls from people, um, you know, even professional women who found it
Mhm.
very, very hard to deal with what was going on at home.
Mhm.
So this is another area that we have to help support.
Mhm.
Yes, that is something real that people are facing during the COVID. Also, there are some mental health disorders, like for instance, um, some people have phobias and anxiety and OCD. Um, they are constantly too careful about the germs. It causes great anxiety to them
Mhm.
if someone is too close to them. So there are many different aspects, and each parent, something different would apply, whether it's special needs, mental health, abusive situation, restless teenagers. Um,
Mhm.
it's a gamut, it's a whole gamut. And then also there is the single parent who has to go to work and have the challenge of the children schooling. Uh, yeah. So, in the midst of it all, I think reaching for our support systems, family and friends, to help us shoulder some of our responsibilities and burdens is something we have to do. I know sometimes people are reluctant to ask for help, but apparently, this is not just lasting for the 3 months, it's stretching on. And
Yes.
how long could you hold all that weight? Yeah.